Hello, and welcome to episode 79 of the Concealed Taco Dudes podcast.
Yay!
I can't whistle.
Your whistling was like horrible, Jason.
Welcome to the show. Let's jump in with some sponsors right away. We got NOE Bullet Molds. We haven't been to the NOE studio in quite some time, and I kind of miss it.
You know, I was just there about a half hour ago.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did step into the studio.
Is it still there?
I noticed that we still have giveaway prizes that we need to give away. So
maybe we can form a plan.
Yeah, let's do a giveaway next podcast episode. So this is heads up for a giveaway.
There you go.
Has he turned the studio into a gun vault yet?
Not yet.
Not.
Ish.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of guns in there, but it's not technically a gun vault.
Not yet.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah, I think Al wants to put in some shelving and stuff, and
Yeah, he talked about putting some cabinets in, and
yeah,
we need to get our coat rack hung up too. Our Concealed
Yes.
Taco Dudes 300 blackout barrel coat rack.
coat rack.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, that's, you can't find ammo. You may as well just hang your...
May as well cut
Those
your
are
guns
no
up and
guns.
turn them into coat racks. Right.
I was gonna say I was really tempted to like steal all the muzzle devices off that coat rack.
No, they're not yours. They are
I've been
for coats. They're just cheap bird cage.
Well,
I
You'd
know
have to file a Form 1.
a Form 1 for creation of a.
Yeah, if you modified that coat rack, you could be in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah.
It's already a short barrel coat rack.
It's a
though.
short barrel coat.
Those are
we're
less
waiting on our paperwork to get approved before
Yeah.
we hang it up.
It's still in jail. Yeah.
Nice. So NOE Bullet Molds, anything new going on there, Taco?
Yeah, well, they are keeping really busy.
Good.
Al, I talked with Al. He was there when I stopped by today. I think that guy works like, I don't know, 7 days a week or 6 days a week.
I think he lives there.
Pretty
he
much.
might, but yeah. So I talked with Al a bit. I was there to pick up an order, of course.
Of
And
course.
I didn't want to have you be the only one with that fancy hollow point airgun mold. So
Ah,
Since it's going to live at your house anyway.
well,
Did you
and-
pick one up for yourself?
yeah, because I don't want to be dependent on you for yours.
Gosh.
Like I want to, say that we have this great falling out or something. And
Right.
it's like, this is my ball and I'm taking it with me,
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. So I don't want to be.
I'm going home.
You're already planning our demise. I see.
Yeah. No, I'm just the prepared person, I just, if
I mean,
you,
I got to get my own set too in case I hate both of you guys.
well, you don't have anything right now. So
Right,
I would
exactly.
say getting something would be better than having nothing.
See, this is how the seeds of discord are sown.
Yeah. Yeah. So I picked up that one, the 22 hollow point mold for air guns.
22 slug, yeah.
Yeah.
Hollow point
Yeah.
Slug.
And I also picked up this one bullet mold that it's for the 350 Legend, but I have a modified chamber of the 350 Legend, so it can use like 357 bullets instead of that 356 and 355. But yeah, I wanted to play around with that. It's going to be on the docket. Like, it's for video wise and experimentation wise, it's further down on the priority list, but I do want to do it at some point, and I wanted to make sure I got it before they didn't have any. And I picked up this new mold that is the 340 265 FP, and that is a 338 bullet mold. And I plan on using it in my 338 Spectre to have like a little bit heavier, like it's kind of light for the Spectre, but heavier for, I don't know. It's somewhere between light and heavy, I guess. Medium heavy.
This commercial has turned into what Taco did with guns.
Sorry. Yeah. Anyways, NOEBulletMolds.com. Use coupon code FLT001 and it'll save you some bucks.
Yep. And Utah Air Guns at UtahAirGuns.com. Or if you're in Utah, they are right on State Street in Orem.
I have a question. Do they have air gun shot shell stuff? I mean,
I
Do
don't
they
think
have
so.
anything in the store that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of. I know
Okay.
there are air guns out there that shoot multiple projectiles like a shotgun, but I don't know that they've got any there or how that works. If there's a cartridge or something that you put in it, or if you just load multiple rounds or what.
Well,
Ooh, it sounds bad loading multiple rounds.
Yeah.
that does, but the reason that I'm asking is for a friend, I guess.
I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Air quotes.
There is a falconer who's having some difficulty with their neighbors and their drone, and so anyway, we're just kind of curious if there's, and it definitely isn't me, but so the question is are there air gun shot shell loads? So
I would say a hollow
give me a call.
point. A hollow point 22 slug would take care of a drone really well.
That's what I was thinking.
But
the things are so accurate, unless it's zipping around. I bet it's pretty easy to hit.
I was gonna say if he lived on the edge of town or something where you could shoot and then not hit something when it came down. But yeah.
Okay, so UtahAirguns.com.
UtahAirguns.com.
Use the coupon code AirCandy, and that'll give you free shipping and turret stickers.
Yep.
Nice.
Awesome stuff. Black Ice Coatings at blackicecoatings.com. Best gun finishes out there.
Yeah, it is.
Cerakoting, hydro dipping, Teflon coating, interior Teflon coating as well as exterior. If you're not Tefloning at least some parts of your gun, you have missed the boat.
So I was working on some of the Teflon coated springs for the new generation mag holder. That coating is incredibly tough. I was trying to actually take the coating off with a polishing wheel with, not the red or not the jewelry kind of rouge stuff.
Right.
And that stuff held up for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So the application is good. It also seems to, treat the steel below the surface just a little bit, and is incredibly tough treatment. So if you're on the fence, definitely don't be anymore. Send your guns into to Black Ice Coatings for Teflon.
Yeah, for sure. And let them know you heard about it right here on the Concealed Taco Dudes podcast.
Yep.
All right. We got listener feedback. Is that where we're jumping next?
Yes, I have some listener feedback.
Okay.
All right. The first one is from Dave W. And this is in reference to the listener feedback I requested on the anniversary guns.
Oh, yeah.
So, Mark, I don't know if you listened to the last episode, but I was asking for recommendations on a pair of firearms to buy and get engraved for my wife and I and my 20th year anniversary this year.
That is great. The reason I say that is great is because I am, live in Utah and that's all wonderful. But even some of us have been married to other people before. Me and my first wife got each other Bryco and Jennings 22s actually for our wedding, like back in 1990 or something.
Wow.
It was really a terrible thing. So I'm hoping that it's a big upgrade over something like that.
Oh, yeah. We're not talking about cheap Jennings and Bryco, whatever. We're talking about, we had mentioned like a lever action and a revolver pair would be kind of nice, or a 1911 and a Thompson, something like that. But
I suggested you should each get a single action 45 Colt and a lever action in the same caliber.
Yeah, that's too expensive. So we
if you really loved your wife, you would.
No, she would kill me if I did that. But if I did one pair, then she'd be like, "Oh, this is cool." Two pairs would be like, "And we could have gone where with this money?"
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'll have to bring over my engraved slide from my first wedding for you guys to see.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Anyways, so there are a couple of listener feedback emails and messages regarding that. Dave W. says, "It does not matter what pair of firearms you buy. You each promised one another to have and to hold until net 6. You will be devastated when she sells it. But the net 6 starts anew this year. So,
and isn't it a net 4?
We could talk about that later. I did a little bit of buying and selling, but
I think you're already in trouble, aren't you?
Yeah, well, at this rate, I am. But yeah.
All right.
So okay, and Crispy says, I have 2 recommendations. One would be a pair of Ruger Vaqueros. You can buy the braces that are made for braces.
Yeah, a brace of pistols. It's 2 of them with consecutive serial numbers.
Oh, interesting. I was not familiar with that word.
Yep.
So a brace is a pair of pistols.
A pair of pistols. I believe it could refer to more than 2. Also, I don't know.
Okay. Well, you learn something new every day. He says you can buy the braces that are made for SAS shooters that are consecutive serial numbers.
See?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
They used
that was really smart, Jason.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes.
He says they used to make a set that were engraved with faux ivory grips, but it looks like they might not make that set anymore. And then he also sent a link to 2 Derringers.
That would be kind of cool.
And he says in some ways the Derringers might be advantageous. And then he sent a link to some Bond-armed Derringers. He says they are unique and not that many people have them. Just my thoughts.
And you wouldn't shoot it very much, probably, to be honest.
And then he sent another email right after, and he says, I emailed the first part way through listening to the segment on Taco's anniversary. I just finished that segment. I take back my previous suggestions. A matching 1911 and Tommy gun is the correct answer.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way myself. That would be a cool matched set.
Yeah. All right. And then Gun Fun ZS, he wrote about a mold that he picked up. And he says, I just got my mold today. And in my checkout notes, I asked how much it would cost to get some extra pins to modify for myself. This was a hollow point mold. And he included them instead of answering. At first, when I was looking through the box, I was kind of shocked to see pins with obvious mils worth on the end of the packaging. Going to become apparent that these are blank pins that I can make into any shape I want. So now I have to fabricate a jig that enables me to file symmetrical facets.
You don't need a jig to use a Dremel tool.
Yeah, what you do is you put the bit in a drill bit, then you go up to your bench grinder, just spin it around.
Yeah, but you got to listen to what he says. He says, I am thinking the pin should have a 4-sided pyramid. Then you can have the bullet open up like with 4 sides. Kind of like a diamond. Yeah.
That would be interesting.
All right.
Well, that's cool.
So
I assume that came from NOE bullet molds.
Yes.
Nice. Good on you, Al.
And then Dave the Satellite says, I'm finishing projects and figuring out just what I need to get before I can't anymore, and always hunting for primers. Always primers. Building a dedicated bench that I can bolt straight into. And that was in regards to the one episode where we said, what are you spending your money on and what are you, buying and working at?
Right. Cool.
So, and then Matt F says, perfect anniversary, gold Deagles, Desert Eagles.
Yeah. Nice.
Or matching 50 Action Express and a baby Deagle in 940 or 45.
So
he says,
if it was only a 10-year thing, it could be like Kunin 357, right? But for 20 years, it's got to be Deagles.
Yeah, gold ones. But he says, unfortunately, the baby Deagle only comes in black oxide. So you'd have to get them both in black oxide to match, or get them dipped, coated, plated.
Yeah. I was going to say, we know a guy.
I don't know. Those Desert Eagles, they come, with that gold plating.
Yeah,
they are shiny. They do look nice.
No, they're obnoxious. You look like a pimp with one of those.
Yeah, but if that's what you're looking for, the look.
I guess if you're going for the early 90s Miami Vice look.
I don't know. I have to admit that, like, as silly as they look, they also look cool. So like
Yeah.
you remember like when they raided Saddam Hussein's like
Yep.
thing,
Yeah.
and they got all those gold plated
Gold
AKs and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, those do look fabulous. I mean, a gold plated AK, that's pretty sweet. Not
For
gonna
all
lie.
of you listening, keep in mind that this is coming from a guy who has a hot pink and gold high point with skull grips.
Yeah,
Just
it's
saying.
true.
And a drop leg holster to match.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
I can
right.
appreciate shiny. I can appreciate
Okay.
shiny. Yeah.
That's too much for me. That's too what's his name?
Well, of course it'd be a wall hanger. I'm not going to go take it and shoot like a gold plated AK. Or
Why not?
I actually might take it out and shoot it.
Yeah, I think you would.
It's too Liberace for me.
Yeah.
What else you got, Taco?
Okay,
Any
that's
more
what we got
feedback?
for
That's
listener
it?
feedback.
Okay. Actually, let's hit our last three sponsors real quick, and then we will jump into the news.
So I am sitting right now about a mile away from Tackware in Lehigh, Utah. I would suggest that everybody needs to check them out. Everyday carry stuff.
Yeah.
Now, if it's not your gun, it may not be your knife, but it is going to be everything else you need. Your grappling hook, the daily
things you need.
You must have. Yeah, no, it's going to be.
They've got a bunch of new stuff too. I keep getting
and the
emails about new stuff. Some new lights. They've got some titanium key rings that are anodized in funky colors and a bunch of stuff like that. So if you haven't looked at their website, tackware.com, in a while, probably worth taking a look and just seeing what's new.
Yeah, and is there a discount code?
There is. The code TACO10 at checkout will save you 10%.
And there are a couple of other companies that are kind of busy right now. Concealment Solutions.
Yep.
You guys have been actually doing pretty good on social media this week. Is that because you've been kind of, not as busy in the office this week, Jason?
I haven't been on social media very much. I don't know, maybe.
Well, I've seen a few things, a couple of race gear and double layer Kydex things that are really cool. And this was stuff that I didn't realize. When I first met you, it was everyday carry kind of utilitarian stuff.
Yep.
But you have what percentage of your business now is like high end weird race stuff? I bet a lot.
I mean, if we tie in like the Cobra drop leg holster into that, because I think that fits that same category, it's probably, I would guess it's probably about the 20% range now. So it's growing.
20% of gun owners are not competitors. So what that means is you have a disproportionate share of elite shooters that are choosing your gear.
Well, and it's not necessarily just elite shooters. There are a lot of 3-gun guys that are using my race competition stuff, and more so custom built stuff. So they'll already have on their belt all rigged out with say like a Safariland offset drop mount for the holster, but they don't like any of the holsters, or it doesn't fit their open gun or their gun with the light that they have on it. And so they'll come to me and I'll custom build them something that will mount right onto that Safariland or G-code or whatever that they're already using. And then they get the holster they want, and it's still sitting the way they are used to it, and it doesn't disrupt their system a whole lot. It just improves it. So that's not the 20%, but when you tie into some of the guys that are shooting IDPA and stuff like that, or IPSC, and then the drop leg kind of encompasses more than kind of your elite shooters. It jumps into the hunters and the backwoods type people that want something. Yeah, in Taco's high point. It taps into people that want a functional piece when they're out and active that is easy to get to, and they look awesome.
Well, so basically, don't think that you can put Jason in a box. He thinks out of the box, and you need to check out Concealment Solutions. and you need to use the code. What is the code?
It's not air candy. I almost said air candy. It's show me the candy.
Show me the candy.
Show me the candy. So, yeah.
Mag Older has been busy. The transition from operationally from me doing a poor job on customer service to my wife kind of handling everything is pretty much complete. And she's doing a great job. She's, pushing price list out to, brick and mortar stores all over the country. She's doing
nice.
She's doing good stuff. So good. We've been busy. I don't know if you've seen an influx of orders, but it seems as though there are certain political things going on that have people concerned. So
people are worried and concerned. Yeah, for sure. I had a line in my shop Friday, a week ago Friday, of waiting to talk to me, which is weird because my shop is like, if you don't know where you're going, you won't find me.
You'll end up accidentally driving into a ditch.
That's what I was going to say. They'll end up in the ditch.
Yeah. So it's, things are getting weird. And I think, our listeners are maybe wondering, why aren't we talking about more politics and a lot of the stuff going on? And I don't know about you guys, but I'm sick of hearing about it and I don't want to talk about it.
Well, yeah, we've done seemingly everything you can possibly do to be proactive about it. And now you at some point you got to stop talking about the plan and just execute the plan.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about news and politics, let me throw this out there. I don't know if you guys saw, but they're trying to get the constitutional carry or permitless carry passed in Utah.
Again,
because
it's actually passed twice in Utah, and Herbert vetoed it.
Yeah, that's what made
me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what made me not a fan of Governor Herbert.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Now, here's the other end of that sword. The other edge of that sword is there are a lot of people in the industry who rely on concealed carry permit classes for their income. And that may have been a driving factor for why Herbert vetoed it.
You think big training is a thing? Yeah, like we've got a bunch of swamp dweller kind of like lobbyist trainers like Mr. Moist and
maybe. or he's got family that may be a part of their income or something like that. If you're in that, if that is part of what you do and part of your income, that really sucks. But on the other hand, constitutional carry is the way it should be.
That is the way it should be. And I mean, I will keep if it does pass, I am still going to keep my permit, update and renew it and everything, because it allows me to carry across to other states that, don't have the same rules or laws of constitutional carry. So one thing I would say is if you live in Utah, you should contact your representatives and tell them to support it.
Yeah.
Let's get it passed and get it signed.
And look up your representatives in, the state senators and your local representatives. Look them up on Facebook, friend their pages. They live or die by that kind of feedback. And it's really easy and they are accessible.
Okay. I never thought about going to their Facebook page. I always email them when, the NRA, there's good and bad to be said about the NRA organization, but the NRA ILA, it's still, man, that's a good way they give you heads up on what's going on, and they give you really easy links to click on and forms to fill out, and they have the letter already written for you, and you can modify it if you want, but sign up for those emails. Be active and help make good changes. Otherwise, if we just sit back and do nothing, then we can't complain when stuff bad happens,
If you are worried about blowing up an email address that you've had forever and don't want to just fill it with spam, you can do what I do for receipts. I just signed up for a Gmail, and I've got something that is receipts for blah, blah, blah at Gmail. And you can do like Mark's Guns at Gmail or something like that. Just be engaged and make it easy for you.
Yeah. Along those lines, thinking about those trainers that are going to lose business if they pass this, everybody needs training. And if you're one of those people that doing concealed carry classes is one of your big money makers for you, you're going to have to rethink and you're going to have to refocus. And I think if you put together your own class on beginning concealed carry and stuff like that, so it's more or less the same type of thing, but without the permit, I think you draw a lot of attention that way too, because there's a lot of new people in the industry, even in Utah, where it seems like everybody's carrying a gun. But that would be a way to, rather than roll over and die because your income has been taken away, reinvent yourself and provide something useful.
Yeah, for sure.
NRA basic pistol, something along those lines, or like Bob Main does Beyond Concealed
Carry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do good stuff like that.
Yeah. One last thing I want to say before we move to our news story. For people who are freaking out and think that it's the end of the world, well, it probably is, but still, you just need to remember we survived 8 years with Obama. We can get through this too.
Yeah, there are differences.
There are differences.
1 year of Biden and a few years of Harris.
Yeah, I was going to say there are differences this time because
there definitely are.
We had that check and balance of like two opposing political groups, and
exactly
all they have is green lights right now. So
well, last time we didn't have that was we didn't have it for 2 years, but then we did. So it may be analogous. Who knows?
Yeah. Anyway, my point is, don't freak out. Take a deep breath. We'll get through it. Not saying it's not going to be tough, but we'll manage.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we jump into a news story?
Yes.
Okay. I have the news story. This coming to us from Sugar Land, Texas. An attempted home invasion was stopped by an armed mother who opened fire on the intruder early Friday. The woman had her 8-year-old child with her in the home. Neither was physically hurt. That's good already.
Crime directive.
Yeah. I always like to hear the ones where it's a mom and a kid and the mom defends. It's like, it's empowering.
Yeah, for sure. The suspect, identified as Santana Hudson 21, survived and was taken to Memorial Hermann Hospital.
I know a couple of guys there.
No, maybe you could ask him how Santana's doing.
Yeah, that'll go great with HIPAA. But it's a suburb of Houston.
Okay. Says he was arrested and charged with burglary of a habitation and unlawful carrying a weapon. What? You can't carry a weapon if you're not allowed. Didn't he know?
Yeah.
The shooting was reported at about 4:30 a.m.
Wow.
On the 200 block of Shadowwood.
So mom is, it's 4:30 a.m. Can you imagine what your mental state is at 4:30 a.m.? I mean, are you ready?
We've talked about that before.
Yeah. Well, if it were me and it were last night, I'd be like ready to go because I was editing one of my videos till like about that time. So
nice.
Yeah. But yeah, no, if you're asleep and man, I don't know.
That's 0 to 60
that's tough.
in a short time.
Yeah, 0 to 60 in a short amount of time.
It says, according to Assistant Chief of Police Michelle Allen, the woman told police she was asleep when she heard a noise at her back door. She grabbed a gun and found a man had broken a window and was trying to get in. She opened fire on the suspect, shooting him in the chest. Good on you.
Nice.
The man fled the scene, going less than a block away through neighbors' backyards, but responding officers managed to track him down because of the trail of blood he left behind.
Well, you get some like cops that are hunters, and they follow the blood trail.
The blood trail. She got him good. He sounds like he's lucky he survived.
No kidding.
A chest wound that's leaving a trail of blood through multiple neighbors' yards that the police can follow
in the middle of the night.
Hopefully he'll rethink his chosen profession while he's recovering.
Yeah, I think he's in jail.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
He'll have some time to think about it. Anyway, that's our news story. Shall we jump into what we did with guns?
Yeah.
All right. I'll start. I didn't do anything. I've been laid up. So
instead of instead of what you did with guns, what you've been doing with life, like
why I
last
didn't do
week or
anything
so
with guns.
Yeah.
So for those of you who haven't listened to the show very much, just some background on me. I live a very active lifestyle. I'm a high school mountain bike coach. It's a volunteer thing, but like spring through summer, I ride 4 to 5 days a week easy. I put in over 1,500 miles on my bike last year, mostly on dirt trails.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and I cross country ski, snowshoe, hike. I'm a pretty active person. I'm a little bit of a health nut. I'm not perfect, but my diet is really pretty good.
Except bacon.
But even that's occasional, very very occasional on the bacon. But anyway, toward the end of the bike season, I was getting some chest pains during our rides. That would go away, and I just kept riding. Wasn't a big deal. By the time the season ended, I thought, okay, I probably ought to go get it checked out. I haven't had a physical in years, and until the last month of my life, I had been in the hospital for myself 2 times. So I don't get sick. I'm really pretty healthy. Anyway, long story short, I went in Monday for an angiogram, and they ended up putting 2 stents in my heart because I had a 90% blockage in one artery, a 70% in another one, and then some more minor blockages in 2 others, which totally floored me because, like I said, I live a healthier lifestyle than most Americans do. And even talking to the doctors and the rehab people and everything, they're like, yeah, you're pretty much doing everything you're supposed to. And he told me that I have the heart of a diabetic, was the term that he put. He's like, if I wouldn't have known better, I would have thought that you were diabetic. And so they're actually checking me for that too, which I don't think it is the case. I don't have any symptoms that way. And they haven't called me, and it's been a week. so I'm betting that I'm not. But anyway, so they ran. It's really amazing. My scar from my surgery is a little bit larger than a pinhole over my radial artery on my right arm. It's still really sore and funny colors and bruised, but because of that, they told me I couldn't work this week.
That's why your holsters are late.
That's why things are a little slow and a little late and why I haven't done anything. I had an appointment with a customer to come in on Tuesday, the day after, and I went in and, I took care of her, took her order. I couldn't build her what she wanted, obviously, but so I did work today, and I did work a little bit yesterday, even though they told me I shouldn't. I'm tired of laying around. So yeah. Anyway, it's just kind of proof that, we can do everything we're supposed to and try to do things right. And life's still going to throw you a curveball every now and then. And
well, kudos for being smart enough to go get checked. The artery that you were talking about, I think you even mentioned it. They call it the widowmaker.
Yeah.
And now you have what they call, you didn't have enough stents to technically meet this threshold, but but you're getting close to Full Metal Jacket in your coronary artery. So
I now have serial numbers.
Yeah, but if there are other people listening, don't put it off. If something's weird, go get it looked at. It can save your life.
Looking back now, how they say hindsight's 20/20. I mean, honestly, for the last 2 years, I have been telling people, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm getting slower on my bike, at practices and stuff like that. And I was, and now I know why. So
now you're going to be faster.
I hope so. I go in Tuesday to see the cardiologist again, and I hope that I get the green light to be active again. I had a 2-week period between my stress test and going in to see the cardiologist, and they told me, they didn't tell me what was going on. They just said, you need to start taking an baby aspirin every day and stop any strenuous activity. And I went, okay. And in that 2 weeks before I could get into the cardiologist, I was just going nuts. And so the day before I went into the cardiologist, I actually went cross-country skiing with my kids. and he was not impressed at all when I told him that. We had another week after I saw him before we had the procedure done, and he said, yeah, don't do that. He's like, we need to get in there and see what was going on. And he was shocked based off my stress test and the results that he found. He was really surprised that it was as bad as it was. So
you had already compensated for some of the deficiency, and that makes it more essentially dangerous because you had already kind of made up for some of the deficit and were pushing yourself harder than your plumbing would allow. Probably. And looking back on it, it's like, where they talk about, do you ever have shortness of breath? And and it's like, well, yeah, but I'm working out, I'm exercising. That's normal. Well, this apparently wasn't very normal, But
you know what you forgot to do?
What?
You forgot to ask the doctors if they could take your stints to Lee at Black Eyes, get them Teflon coated, and then put them in your body so they'd be like super flow.
I'd be lubed up and
that's
I'd
what you forgot
bionic.
to do.
Dang it. Next time.
Next time
we'll do that.
The doctor had to remove the pork sword from your heart.
Yeah. No kidding. So anyway, I haven't done anything this week because of that. Other than I'm sitting around spending money is what I've been doing. I've ordered a lot of stuff for the 4Runner. But we can talk about that later. But I'm not just happy to be here, but I am probably extremely lucky to be here right now, and I'm grateful for it. So that's what I didn't do with guns and why.
Okay, Mark, what'd you do?
This is going to sound like like the AARP meeting of the day. So I went and had a sleep test up at the University of Utah. They've been kind of poking around trying to figure out, I've been dealing with a respiratory issue that is as yet undiagnosed. But I did take, because University of Utah is a Utah state facility and you can carry legally in them. So I was strapped when I went in for my sleep test up at the U. But I put it all in a locker and everything. I didn't, because what they do is they wire you all up with like 22 leads and EKGs, EEGs, all that stuff, and then they
so that you're comfortable when you're sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. And then some guy sits and watches you for 8 hours straight.
Oh my God.
That sounds creepy.
Do they give you something to knock you out, or are you just supposed to fall asleep naturally?
Yep, you're supposed to go to sleep naturally, and so I did everything I normally do, including set my alarm at midnight so I could get up and do my daily solitaire challenge. And
you get up at midnight to play solitaire?
Well, my wife and I, we screenshot whoever wins it first, screenshots it and goes nya 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 to the other person.
At midnight.
Yeah, at midnight every day. It's really stupid. But
that's a new one on me.
So that's what I did with guns. I also was traveling, and I picked up some aftermarket Glock magazines from a gun store in Las Vegas. And then they're weird. I'm trying to remember the name of them, but there's obviously the Magpul ones are the ones that I'm most familiar with. But I didn't realize that there are these other ones, and they're clear.
It's probably the ETS brand.
That is it. Yep, that's who it is.
I have like a bunch of those, and they work.
Do they
fine.
work? Great.
Well, I use them for my 9mm ARs, and they work fine. They're really dirty. They're not translucent anymore.
Right.
I shoot them now. Suppressed.
Well, that's the same reason I got them. I got them for the M2000 that I inherited from Jason. Let's see. And then we went to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant, the steakhouse. It was unbelievable. Was carrying there, so that's good. Then finally we ended up in St. Louis. So been all over the western U.S. This last week, and didn't do anything with guns in St. Louis. So that's it.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, Taco. The rest of the show is yours.
I'll try not to take too much time so we can hit hit our topic, but I have to be the redemption for you guys who are like not doing anything with guns, make up for it. But yeah, so I had my 42nd birthday party this
42.
week, and every year my friend Mike, he's like 10 years younger than me, and we have the Mike and Mike birthday party shoot, and it usually ends up around Martin Luther King Day, and that's when we did it this year. So we got a bunch of people together and we go out and shoot, and it's just a big fun range day. So anyways, we did that. I was able to take that little Beretta 51 model 51 1951 out and try it out. It
How
actually
was it?
shoots good.
Yeah?
I like it, and it's I can see how the design was very much improved with the 92,
Right.
but
just by making it a double stack is all they really needed to
do. But it has a decent trigger, and it shot really well. I do like that the fact that it's all metal and the trigger's not horrible. So
cool.
I do want to still take that to black ice and get it coated, slicked up a little bit, and
get the trigger slicked up. Get the trigger Teflon.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm planning on doing, and then probably get a little bit of texture put on the grips. The grips I really do hate, but
do they do that at black ice?
Like, what do you mean?
Can they texture grips?
I'm thinking that he might be able to put some kind of texture on the grip, and then not a ton, but a little bit, and then do the hydro dip over it or whatever.
Cool.
I just need to talk to him about it and take it down, see what he can do. But I'm thinking that replacing or doing that Teflon coating won't make it look too odd or anything, because it's kind of got that blackish blue color anyways. So anyways, I'm excited about getting that done. I took my 308 rifle with me, and I put on a new scope. It was a closeout. It was a Riton Mod 7 that I got pretty inexpensively on closeout, and that one has really good glass, and I put that on, and we were shooting that out to about 500 yards, and that was really fun to do. I was shooting that suppressed, like hardly any recoil with the suppressor and the load I was using. And anyways, it was a really good fun range day, and I did a video on it, so if anyone wants to see a bunch of people shooting a bunch of guns, it's pretty fun. But you can find that on my channel. I helped a neighbor put together a 300 Blackout AR-15.
I helped build an AR this week too.
Nice.
My cousin bought parts and we put it together yesterday. So I did do something with guns.
Yeah, okay. It was fun though, because
Taco.
he had bought a lower, back when they're cheap, is a while back when you could buy two of them for like $35 each or $40 each or something.
Yeah.
And I had helped him build a 5.56 version like 4 years ago or something. It was a while ago. And then he wanted to build something, but just a little different. So we did a 300 Blackout, and turned out really nice. I played Barbie a little bit with some of my AR-15s, and I replaced the barrel nut and forend on my daughter's AR-15. Sticking with the purple and pink theme of her rifle, we replaced the forend with a free float purple. It's made by Hogue, and I just wanted to say I like that forend, but the tool that they provide with it is a joke, and the barrel nut installation is really sucky. So don't buy one of those unless you're willing to buy a strap wrench to install that. So
there is a workaround, but
yeah, the workaround is to buy a strap wrench and like a real one and install it that way. But they give you this little 2-piece plastic strap wrench thing, and it just doesn't allow you to grip enough to torque it down enough.
That's what we were trying to fuss with the suppressor. We're using that same tool, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that strap wrench from Wheeler. Yeah. But this one was, it just aggravated the heck out of me, because they say, if it starts sliding, because it just grinds the plastic texture on the inside to make it smooth when you're like trying to torque on it, and it just grinds it, makes it smoother. Like they say, just get some, fine grit sandpaper and put that on so that the
and start
sandpaper
sanding down your barrel nut.
No. You put it so the sandpaper is like facing the outside.
Oh.
And then
that sounds really lame.
But
yeah.
still,
So then what you end
like,
up doing is sanding down the little barrel or the barrel nut tool even more.
Yeah.
Like you make it smoother. And oh man,
So it sounds to me like the paperwork says, yeah, we know this sucks, but we don't care. So you could try this and it might suck less, but we still don't care.
It's funny though. You go onto YouTube and you search like installation of Hogue free float handguard.
Yeah.
And they say, okay, now you use this tool and you do it just like this. And then they cut. I'm like, liars, you did not use that tool to do that. Yeah, anyways. So yeah, don't buy a Hogue free float handguard
unless you're willing to
unless you have a
use
strap
your own
wrench.
tool. Yeah.
And I did pick up the PS90 from Gunny's.
Ooh.
But I really want to keep it. So
yeah,
I don't want to trade Carl. He should have got it when they had multiple there.
He should have.
I know.
So what's that put your count to? Because you bought another gun from me this week too.
No, I bought it last week.
Wait,
you talking about
this is a yearly count. It's not
the 48.
Yeah, we talked about the 48 and the CZ. That was last week. So
okay.
I think I'm at net 3. I have a spreadsheet to track it so I don't cheat. But yeah.
That sounds low to me, but anyway.
So other than that, I've been getting ready to do a bunch more 4570 casting and reloading, and I don't know. I always get excited about 4570, and it's a fun cartridge. Mark, you probably can attest to that.
I love it. It's my favorite cartridge.
Yeah. Oh, and I picked up a 6.5 Grendel kit from Gunny's. They had a barrel, an Odinworks barrel with a adjustable gas block and a bolt carrier, and it was like $369. So that's not bad for having a BCG with it and adjustable gas block.
And that didn't count because it's not serialized.
Yep,
right?
Exactly. So that is not a gun. It's just an upper or barrel. But yeah, so I'm going to be putting that together tonight once my friend brings me a rifle length gas tube. And then I can throw it all together. So yeah, that's what I did with guns, plus a few other things. But I don't want to take up all the time. So let's head on to our topic section. And we were going to talk about our resolutions, and we haven't heard from Mark his list of New Year's resolutions, and then we're going to give you updates on Jason and mine.
There you go.
So I'll be quick. I think that my resolutions changed a little bit from January 1st to January 20th, but I still think it's early enough in the year that they're valid. This year, I'm going to up the support of organizations that I think make a difference when it comes to gun rights. I'm going to, I still have some issues with the NRA, but I'm not going to have them take my name off the rolls or anything. But I am going to actively support the Second Amendment Foundation, Alan Gottlieb and Massad Ayub.
Yeah.
Who is, involved with them officially now. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm also going to support, locally, Utah gun organizations as well. I'm going to take a self-defense class because I realized that, 2020 sucked. And, I dealing with this as yet unidentified respiratory thing. I realize that all of my self-defense training may need to be updated a little bit because I physically am not in the same shape that I was 10, 12 years ago when I really jumped into it. So I'm going to take another class, and I'm going to try to make it one of Dave Spalding's classes. And I'm going to show up, with all of my weaknesses and shortness of breath and all that kind of stuff, and I'm going to figure out how dangerous I can be in the condition that I am.
Now, when you're talking a self-defense class, are you talking hand-to-hand type of stuff, or are you talking?
No, I'm talking
firearm class.
I'm talking self-defense because, and it would be great to do some non-gun self-defense stuff.
I agree. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to run back through, some of the basic self-defense gun stuff, but I'm going to do it with a noticeably different perspective now. Yeah. And you and I have both had, Jason, customers that have come to us for like with disabilities, and
Yeah.
can you help me make this work? And
Yep.
we figured out some solution. I think
Mhm.
now I have a much greater appreciation for that, and it is basically a little bit harder if you're not feeling like you're 25 years old and ready
I
to
do
fly.
now.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it's worth revisiting some of those basic skills, and checking on it. So that's my resolution.
I think that's a great goal. That's
That is.
that's something I need to think about. With all the COVID stuff, it may be tough to be able to take a class like that. I don't know, but that's good. I think a lot of us overlook that aspect of personal defense because, well, I have a gun. Well, sometimes we don't, or you can't use it, or
Right.
you shouldn't use it. So
Yep.
I think that's great.
Yeah, that's good.
I hope people are getting vaccinated. It's becoming more available, but in Utah right now, we're kind of slowed up a little bit. But I know a lot of people are getting vaccinated, so hopefully it catches up, and by mid-year we can do normal things. That would be great.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I think everybody's sick of dealing with everything.
Yeah.
Well, Taco, what have you been able to accomplish so far as your goals that you want to accomplish this year?
Okay, so just as a refresher, my goals were to get my rifle built with the 35 Taco Teeny Wildcat that I'm working on with Kenny from the Eagle Eye Shooting Channel. And we've been talking back and forth about, some of the design stuff. And so the goal was to get a round fired through a custom rifle before the end of the year. That's a process that's just going to take a long time. We got to get the design right before we end up spending money on reamers and stuff. And one of the other goals was the 6 net new guns, including air guns. And I'm still under 6. So that is good. And I'm planning on still being under 6 and being able to get those 2 anniversary guns. But I'm only going to count
6. I thought you said 4.
No, it's 6 net new guns this year.
I must be listening to a different podcast.
Yeah, you must be. But it includes air guns.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's a give and a take.
Yeah, but you do know that when I do the anniversary guns, I only have to count one of them because, the other one is my
because
wife's.
Of the straw purchase.
Giving a gift gun is not a straw purchase. And then one of the other goals was to teach and help, I think it was 10 new reloaders or bullet casters.
Right.
And I have been working on that and helping some guys get into bullet casting. I've had a friend come over, and this last time we made some 300 blackout, the subsonic 225 grain taco bullets. So that one is he's excited to be able to shoot his gun cheap,
Yeah. Well, I'll come over next week and we'll fire up those hollow point slugs, those 22s.
Yeah. And then I had another friend, we loaded up some 357, and another friend that we are doing some 4570. So I did get a bulk order of 4570 brass from Starline, and it was 500 pieces of brass.
Nice.
And he got 100 pieces, and I'm keeping the 400 others. So
are they in good condition? Nice flash holes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Starline makes. Well, I was just going to say, I've never had bad brass from Starline, and they guarantee it. So if you do have something out of spec, you can contact them and they'll replace it. Starline is like a top-notch company, and it kind of feels like they're a smaller company than, say, like Winchester, those others, that if you contact them, they will take care of you, and they care about their end users and stuff. So
they'll actually answer the phone and talk to you.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
I like that.
So you mentioned you loaded some 357. Was it like 357 just in the case, or was it like real 357 load?
Okay, so it wasn't technically 357. It was 38 special with big, heavy bullets that have to be.
Okay.
It was that 200 grain NOE hollow point, the soft cast ones. And I will say those are the funniest things to shoot into milk jugs. I was watching the video clip, and it looked like I was flinching every shot, but it's just because the only sound you get is when the bullet hits the jug. So you have the click of the hammer. So it looks like I'm jerking up the gun right before I shoot, because the jerk happens and then you hear the boom of the jug. So it's really bizarre, but you should check out the video clips, from that I posted. But yeah, that is a really fun load, and it's just crazy because it blows up the jugs, but there's like no sound that of the cartridge going off.
So if you did a gel video with it, you could do it like 20 frames a second and run it in slow-mo. I mean, is it really a big, slow bullet?
Well, I did shoot some into gel, but I won't have a video on that for a bit. And I will say it did not expand when I was using the little snubby, but with the lever action, you get a full-on mushroom expansion with like no pedaling or anything. So the retained weight is the full 200 grains. It's impressive. If you have a 357 lever gun, it'd be fun to shoot some through it. But
I do.
Which one do you have?
I've got the.
You don't have a threaded version.
No, it's not threaded, but it will be. That's going to be another resolution. I need to get that thing threaded. But it's a stainless Marlin 1894.
Okay, yeah. So anyways, you should come over sometime, Mark, and we should make some of those slow, silent exploders. So
cool.
Yeah. What about you, Jason? How's your New Year's resolutions coming along?
So like I said, I sat around more than normal, which caused me to spend money. What else am I going to do, right? So I ordered a new roof rack for the 4Runner, and I splurged a little bit. Well, I tried to, and I ordered one that totally replaced the factory rack. So you pull the factory rack off, unbolt it off the roof, and this was a replacement. Looked awesome. I had some concerns because online, the description, it fit way too many vehicles. And so I was suspicious. And so I contacted the company, said, hey, is this really going to fit my year and model? And they said, oh, yeah, it will. Like instant response. Yep, no problem. Got it. My daughter was helping me put it together because I technically shouldn't have even been doing that. But anyway, so it took us about an hour and a half to put this thing together in the front room. Went out, pulled the rack off the 4Runner, put that thing on top. Not even close. Not even close. It was when it was lined up with the front mounting holes, the rear foot was a good 8 inches away from.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And it was too wide at the front. So I couldn't have, and the bolts were too short. And yeah, I was not very impressed. What I was impressed with, though, because I bought it on Amazon, is instantly went in, said, I'm returning this. They said, okay, take it down to the UPS store and they'll ship it for you. And so I obviously I had to disassemble it and repack it, which sucked, but took it down. As soon as they got the tracking number that it was shipped, my money was all back in my account.
Oh, nice.
I was like, oh, that was really cool.
Did you put the old rack back on, or have you ordered?
Yeah, I put the old rack back on. Here's the problem is with that 4Runner, there's a lot of options for racks that will completely replace that factory rack, but they're all very large and they're designed more or less to throw one of those rooftop tents on them.
Right.
It's basically a big platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I've decided I'm not going to go that route. And they're between $800 and $1,500.
And by the time you got a Teflon, to be even more.
Exactly. So I went away from that route, and I ended up, and it just showed up today. I just put it together before we got on here, but just a roof basket that's going to go on the factory rack. It'll serve the purpose I need it to. It doesn't look quite as cool as the other one did, but it was significantly cheaper So I got that. I got a bungee net for it. I've got all the suspension parts I need for my lift kit. Not sure when I'm going to be able to get that on, but yeah. So I'm in pretty good shape with this thing. Once all that stuff's on, the suspension, and I get new tires on it, really the only thing I want to do sooner than later on it is put a Bluetooth stereo in it. But that's just more for convenience, so I don't need that. But so I did that. One of the other goals that I talked about was preparedness skills, and more like bushcrafting skills and fire starting and stuff like that, and doing that with my family. Well, the other day I was out running some errands, and I came home, and it's been kind of wet the last little while. Well, really wet the last day and a half, but before that, wood and stuff out in the back was still kind of damp. And I looked out there, and my son, my 11-year-old, was out there at the fire pit, and I can see smoke starting to develop. And so I go out there. I said, "Hey, what you doing?" He's like, "Oh, look, I started a fire." I went, "Oh, cool." I said, "How did you start it?" He's like, "I gave him
like a ferro rod."
Like a ferro rod, yeah. One of the ones that's those cheap, crappy ones that's attached to a block of magnesium. So he has that, and his Mora 511 knife that he got for Christmas. And he's like, "Yeah, I just started with a spark." I'm like, "Really? That's awesome." He's like, "Well, I used a whole bunch of hand sanitizer too." But he was out there. He started a good fire with nothing but his ferro rod hand sanitizer on kind of damp wood. So I was really impressed. I said, "How much did you use?" "A whole bunch." And it was like one of those little tiny bottles, and like half of it was gone. So I thought, "Well, that's really cool. Good job." I said, "Next time, try to use less. Try to use just a little drop of it and see if that works." Because you want to get to where you don't have to use stuff like that, and you can use, other things and natural materials but
Doritos.
But yeah,
you should,
Doritos.
I was gonna say, you should have them go. Next time you or your wife does the laundry, grab some of that lint, and have them try some of that. Say, "Hey, try this. See if you can do it with this."
Yeah. Another thing I just got in the mail today were 2 old hatchet heads, and he hates to read. And it drives us nuts because we almost have to, it's a fight every time to go do his reading homework. And so I thought, we've been watching a lot of bushcrafting videos, and one of the ones, a guy took an old hatchet and restored it and put a new handle on it, and he made the comment, "Oh, that would be fun to do." And I agreed. And so I ordered a couple old ones, just showed up, and I said, "Okay." I showed them to him. He's like, "Oh, these are cool." I'm like, "Yeah, we'll totally refurbish them, sharpen them up, put handles on them." I said, "But before you can do it," I said, "we're picking a book, and you have to read that book before we'll even start the project." So he's excited about that. I'm excited about that. That'll be a fun one. And in the end, he'll have something, a nice tool that he's familiar with that, he can use for his fire starting and stuff like that. So that's kind of the direction I've gone as far as goals that I talked about.
Cool. All right. Well, we're just about out of time. So, yeah. You got anything else?
No, I think we're good. But
all right. Until next week, stay safe, have fun, take someone shooting.
Take someone shooting.
Be nice, like Jason said.
All right.
Okay. See you next week. So anyway.
And now you're Full Metal Jacket almost in your LAD.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Now I have serial numbers.
In your heart?
Yep. Those little stints have serial numbers on them. Apparently.
I was going to say, is a stint permanent?
Yes.
Like they install it.
Yep.
Install it. And then it's just there forever.
Yep.
It is. Okay.
It's basically a scaffolding.
Yeah.
And they put it in, and they use a balloon to expand it. and it's calibrated to the size that it needs to be, and it crushes everything that's in the way out of the way up to the wall of the vessel.
Yeah. They gave me a card supposedly I'm supposed to carry around so I can inform people if I'm going in for an MRI or.
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough metal in there that's going to set off a metal detector at the airport or anything.
Well, it's nickel titanium. So,
I have titanium in me?
Yeah, you do.
Dude,
awesome.
That's sweet.
Nickel titanium alloy.
I'm lighter and faster now.
Yep.
Yeah. You should have seen if, while they were doing that surgery, they could have just put in some tackware titanium toothpicks, like Wolverine claws, so that would be cool. Be cool. Be cool. Be cool. Be cool. Be cool. Be cool.